Morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for having me in. I appreciate it. Well, Bill did a good job of introducing our program, so I'm just going to kind of roll right into it. And from my company's perspective, we're very fortunate to be partnered with the up-and-coming weekly papers because it is a good local product, and that's what our company is all about. This way.
He's off camera, I'm sorry.
Oh, I didn't know I was on camera. Can I move this over here?
Yes.
All right, wonderful, thank you. My apologies. So I'm gonna just jump right in. What we do, it is a direct mail piece that goes to new families when they move into the market, and as Bill mentioned, we are doing all of Cumberland County in this market. And normally I put a number in here for you to see, but this is a larger market. So what we've done here is we've divided this market into two zones. The total number of families coming into all of Cumberland County is 1,552 per month. So we've divided that number. The first zone will be 778 families on average per month, and the second zone is 774. And as a business or advertiser, you can decide which of those areas interest you, or of course you're welcome to participate in the entire county's market. And I'll just use one of those numbers to walk through for the first zone. That number of 778 families, that is not a random number. It is based on the last 12 months actual data for the market. So we look at 24 months for any spikes, and then we use the last 12 months to get our number. It is, however, an average. We certainly can't dictate when people move in or out of a market. So one month that number may be 510, and another month it may be 975. You never really know, but it should stay somewhere in that average range for the year. Excuse me, I have a little bit of sinus things going on this morning. I travel, so. It is a family number. The national average is about 3 persons per family, so you're really looking at about 2,300 people per zone that our mailer will get in front of. And if you would go ahead to the next slide, please. And the benefit to our program, when someone makes a move in a local home market, they're usually moving within a couple of miles. They're hauling some boxes. It's not a really overly traumatic move, but when you are coming from an outside market, whether that's 2 counties away or 10 states away, excuse me, it's a whole different set of circumstances because you're forced to sever your regular business relationships, and you've got to replace everything that you do, not just schools and healthcare, but where you get an oil change, where you get a haircut, things like that. Have any of you made out-of-state moves into this market? Can you give me a couple of examples where you came from?
Atlanta.
Atlanta? That's a big move. Florida?
Alabama.
Alabama, okay.
Massachusetts.
Virginia.
Wow.
Kansas.
Germany.
Germany.
Who said Germany?
Well, I mean, it's military, so you.
Okay, that's better. How far of a move is that?
Thousands of miles.
So you really understand what I'm talking about. And I've made some of these moves myself. So the benefit to our program, when someone makes a move like that, is we help them get connected with their new local businesses while they're in that transitional mode, if that makes sense to you. Okay, next slide, please. This slide, fairly old information that new people spend more money in a new market their first year because they're setting up a new lifestyle. So I use this slide to talk about our timeline. We send our mailers out once a month to all the families that moved in the past 30 days. So everybody only gets it once because the next month it'll go to an entirely different group of people. So if someone comes in, a week or 2 before we send one, we get to them right away. If they were to move in right when we drop one in the mail and we miss them, we send the next one out 30 days later. They'll be on that cycle. So our goal is to get to everybody within 1 to 30 days of their move. Excuse me. Okay, we have 2 main components to our program. The first is we use a variable graphic for personalization. As you can see on the screen here, we do print these one at a time with each family's last name on them. We use Smith for our samples, but we can accommodate any name. So if their name were, say, Alexander, the pumpkins would be smaller here. There'd be more of them. We'd still do 1 letter per pumpkin so that each piece is personal to each home. Who's got the longest last name in here?
McKinnon.
McKenna? All right. So if this were coming to you, these would all fit on. I was hoping for one of those long hyphenated names so I could explain that we can go down another line if we get something like that. We actually had only once in our entire 4.5-year history, we had a double hyphenated name and we had to go full 2 lines, but we can accommodate any name, so it will always be personal. So how it's going to work, it's going to come branded at the top from the up and coming weekly, and quite honestly, we're going to use this piece to reach out to the same new families and introduce some of Bill's products to them. So I call it a shared benefit piece, which helps when we get to the cost. It's very cost effective for each individual advertiser. It's going to welcome these folks to the specific part of the county that they move into based on their new address. So it'll just pull the city from the address line, so whichever city they move into, it will list that city. It'll have their last name and then let them know that there are offers for them inside. And you can see, we've got 3 different examples here, but we do a different graphic each month. We try to keep it seasonal, make it eye appealing, and just make sure that when they see it, they want to pick it up and flip through it. And if you think about the moves that you've made, when you send something to my house, I've been in my current home about 12 years. I know where everything is. I live in a small market. I still may flip through it just to see what's in there, but it's not as interesting to me as when I've made a move. I have moved out of state for work-related moves where I didn't know a soul or any of the businesses there. And I know when I'm in that mode, that's when you kind of grab everything and take a look through it. So that's our goal, is to make sure that we make it creative enough so that when they see it, they wonder, first of all, how somebody knew they were there that quickly, and then why it has their name on it and what's inside for them. Okay, next slide, please. And then the meat to our program is where we get our data. I'm sure some of you have done direct mail and some of you haven't for your businesses. If you've done direct mail, the biggest hurdle with it is you have to buy the data, and because it's data, there is a very large inaccuracy with what you get in the exchange, and it's the same for our program as well as any other direct mail program. We deal with it on a regular basis. But what we found when we first started the program was that we couldn't actually get good enough information with a single source. So we kind of switched gears, and we went to 4 individual sources to give us a kind of a better finished product. So these sources on the right, they're the sources we use. Experian, when someone buys a new or used home in the market, that's obviously a good indication that they are coming here if they're not already here. Top magazine subscriptions, the second one. Not quite a home purchase, but people are creatures of habit. If you've got magazines at your old home, you'll send them to your new home, and when you update that address, we will get that information. New landline phone connections, basically when you move and you set up your internet, phone, cable TV package, we'll get that information. And the bottom one, financial transactions, that is by far our best source because it's any credit card, it's MasterCard, Visa, American Express, Discover, Penny, Sears, Kohl's. If you've got a finance bill, say a Visa bill going to one address for the past 5 years, suddenly you want it to go to a new address, then we know that you are moving there. So they're good sources for us, but within them we will still get some errors and duplications that come along. So we have our own software program. We kind of merge all that data together, and the sources on the right here, these are examples of things that we will filter out. If someone has a seasonal home, they come back after 3 or 4 months, turn on their utilities, start up their mail and paper, it will come through to us as a new start when it should be a restart. We'll know they're not new, so we'll exclude them. The same with the reconnection of a utility. If somebody's water gets turned off for a couple of days, they go up, make a payment, turn it back on. It'll come through to us as a new connection, but we know that they're already in the market, so we exclude them. Investment property owners, people that will buy homes, fix them up and rent them or sell them. Each time they do so, they'll hit the same Experian list, but if they're already in the market, we don't include them as new. We do send to renters. A lot of folks, when they come to a brand new market, they will lease or rent that first year while they look for something to buy and find their way around the market. So if this were a new family that's renting, we would still send it to them when they hit one of our other lists, just not the person that bought the home that actually that already lives in the market, if that makes sense to you. Second phone or fax line for a home business, you're already in the market, so we don't include you as new. And then the bottom one, the no duplicates, that's a big thing for the advertisers. This is it's an advertising piece, it's an offer-driven piece. You reach new families, you want to make a real good offer, one that you couldn't normally make in the broad market, to get them into your business the first time. So, we've had some really good offers in our mailer. We've had free oil changes, free haircuts, buy one, get ones, 75% off, things like that. And that's a good offer, and that'll help get you good traction through our program. But if you make an offer like that, you certainly don't want us to send it out 5 times to every household. You don't want it to go out to 10,000 people that already know your business is here, because that's going to be harmful to your business more than helpful. So we do make sure that when someone comes in that's new, if they hit all of our lists, we get their data 5 or 6 times, that we still filter it down so that they only get one of our mailers. So that's how our process works. At the end of it, we've got a good list of who the new families are. That's who we send our mailer out to. And then the kicker that we have, each month when we send the mailer out to those new families, we then email that list of who it went to each of the advertisers that's included. It becomes a prospecting list for you. You can do with it whatever you would like. Some folks send a follow-up letter. Some do postcards. Some don't do anything at all. They just kind of hold it in reserve until they have a big sale or the holidays or something like that. Okay, next slide, please.
Lee, can I make a comment on that?
Yes, sir.
What he just said is very, very important to businesses and organizations. All of our publications are audited, okay? We can tell you how many we print, where they go, who reads it, okay? The fact that this mailer is going to go out to all the newcomers, and then you are going to get the list on who it went to, not only verifies that it went out, it tells you who it went to and allows you to follow up on it for future days, so you can actually build your own database, all right? Which is a very significant part of this program.
That's correct.
Thank you.
And with that information, all that we're able to give you, we can get phone numbers, but it's always their old phone number, which is not, it's more aggravating than helpful. So with that, we've added a couple of digital components so that if you would like to capture the new phone number or an email address, we can do so. We offer QR code and text features. The QR code, as most of you probably know, you can take people anywhere you want them to go on the internet. Mostly, people opt to have folks sent to their website, but you can also send them to your Facebook page, your Twitter feed. Create a new mover page on your website. We can direct people specifically to that page so that they see exactly what you want them to see, etc. And then the text feature gives us the option to capture email addresses and phone numbers. You give them a reason to text in, and we set it up so that when they do so, they have to give you the information that's valuable to your business. And those are both optional. You don't have to use them, but just like our list, they're part of our program. There's no extra charge for them. We're happy to build them for you. If you have them already, we're happy to incorporate them in an ad. But like I said, if not, we'll build them for you. And it just gives you a couple of additional touch opportunities for those new folks. And how it works is a package combined. We're going to start this in the Cumberland County market in February. So as of February, when someone new comes to the market, they're going to receive our mailer. If your business is in there, they're going to see you. If we send them to your website, they're going to see you again. If we get them to text in, they hear from you again. And then we give you their information so that you can reach back out to them as often as you would like. Okay? This data is not our data, National New Mover Statistics. You can Google the same information. Basically, it's kind of a list of things that when people move into a new market, they will be looking for the first couple of months after a move. So as you can see, it's all over the board. From pet supplies, pharmacy, tires, furniture, everything in between. And what we do when we talk to you as an individual business is we kind of try to find your business in here and gauge. A lot of you will already know this information, but gauge what the statistical value of our program would be to your business. If it's a dentist's office, it's 70%. If it is pet supplies, it's 78%. So it drops that overall number, but what it still shows is a very huge opportunity for each of your individual businesses. There are a lot of people moving into the market, and it's a very high number of opportunities for your business. Okay, next slide. And our whole program boils down to this page, quite frankly, and that is the value of a new customer or family of customers for each of your businesses. If someone comes, and you can read through how that works, but if someone comes to the market and they have a need for any of the products or services that any of you offer, every business is competitive by nature, and I certainly can't force someone to come in and buy individually or specifically from you. That's where a good offer to get them to call and come into your business that first time comes into play. But what I can do is make sure that your business is the very first one that they see when they get into the market by including you into our program. And that's really all there is to it. I think you added a pricing sheet, but I'm not sure. That's fine, if not, we'll have it in the hall. So while she's pulling it up there, I'll show you, and we'll have some information in the hall that you can pick up. But this is an example of what the mailer actually looks like. We use an 8.5 by 11 sheet. Sorry, I stepped out of the camera again. We use an 8.5 by...
There we go. I'm new to this.
There you go. Okay. So this is the price structure, and this is the actual product. These are actual samples from different markets. One of them is from here in North Carolina, another one's from Oklahoma. But as I mentioned, it'll come branded from the up-and-coming weekly papers. And then there will be a graphic on the back with the family's name in it, welcoming them to the market, letting them know there's offers inside. And when they open it up, it's just a handful of local businesses for them to see. And we do try to make it a nice mix of, a variety of businesses, things that people are actually looking for, rather than, we avoid putting like 12 banks in here and someone opens it up and here's 12 banks for you to choose from. That's not valuable to any of the banks, and it's not valuable to the new folks. So we try to make it a health center, a vet, a dentist, a bank, one or two of each individual type business category, so that it is valuable to the new folks. And can you pop that sheet back up again for me, please?
I have a question for you, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If I'm starting a new business, will I have help from your, I want to buy a half a page. I need someone to design it for me. I'm ignorant of how to design.
You and I
What is-
both.
Okay, what can you do for me for that money besides put it in your flyer?
We do have graphics people that will take care of building the ad for you, as well as Bill's group
We,
will do it.
This is Melissa Zelaznik. She is the director of this program, and this is Carla Allen, and she also works with it. Matter of fact, what I'm doing, this is Linda McAllister and Christy Sykes. All of these people are specifically trained to help businesses, and they will take care of all of that. We got professional graphic design, and we help the client with all that, whatever they need. Because everyone's needs are different, so you won't have to worry about that.
That would include the colors, because as I'm looking at your flyer here, I see different colors, different pictures, different fonts and all that.
Everything.
Yes, sir. It would
It would be
include full color.
customized to me.
And that's
That
all
is correct.
included.
It is included, and what you would get is someone would design an ad for you and give it to you to look at, and if you were happy with it, great, and if not, they would make changes to the ad until it looked the way you wanted it to look. That makes sense. Okay? And I'll real quickly walk you through what you get. This is the price. The markets are priced the same because they're the same size. However, they have set it up so that if you are interested in taking the whole county and taking both markets, you get a 25% discount on the second market, which makes it a really nice value. So if you just pick an ad size, like the quarter page, for example, is $235 in either market, or $411 for both markets. This, and I think they pass some of these around, this is the quarter page ad size. And normally in a print product, if you want an ad in full color, there's a color upcharge of a couple $100s in most markets. Our ads all include full color at no extra charge. So a quarter page ad at $235 I think is an exceptional value if it's in full color. But you get the ad in color. You can change the ad every month. You do not have to change it because it's going to a new group of people every month. So if something's working for you, you're welcome to leave it. But you may have seasonal things going on or sales going on, so you are welcome to change it every single month. So you get the ad in color, you can change it every month. You can use our digital options, QR code and text feature. We build and maintain those for you. If we do build you something like the QR code, you can use it for all of your other marketing, put it on your business cards, etc. And then each month when we send the mailer out to all the new folks, we then email you the list of who it went to, and that list becomes yours to use as you would like.
I notice you have a 12-month commitment.
Yes, sir.
So if I come to you, say, well, I have finances for 6 months, you have up there, I have to commit to 12 months, is that correct?
That is correct.
So the
There's an
$800
exception.
would actually be what?
I'm sorry, what was the-
800, we'll say 800 a month, that would be what, about
$9,600
a year that I would
Correct.
pay you guys.
Well, you know, everyone's needs are different, okay? But the important thing about any marketing program is it has to be consistent, okay? With all of our products, for 20 years, from a marketing point of view, we want your success, not your money, okay? If you're successful, we'll get your money, okay? I mean, come on, I mean, but we don't want to set you up for failure. Believe me, there are dozens of people that'll sell you stuff, okay? But with all of our products in this program, there are plenty of different variations to fit every business, every organization, okay? And what these ladies' jobs are, and my job, is to make sure that you get fitted into the right one. My job is to make sure that the products or the companies that we're dealing with are reputable and are producing a quality product. That's a very good question.
Okay, any other questions?
You mentioned if you had 12 banks, you wouldn't include 12 banks. What kind of protocol do you have to?
I'm really glad you asked that because I skipped that piece. I realized that as soon as you started to ask that question. We do have to be able to fill up the mailer, so we try not to limit ourselves on what we can sell. But we try, since we're trying to make it as valuable as possible to both the businesses and the new families, we try to limit it to 2 or 3 of any particular category. However, we do offer exclusivity if that's what someone needs. If you're a dental office and you want to be the only dental office in the piece, as long as you purchase a half page or a full page, you can be the only advertiser of your category.
There's only there's gonna be two zones. So you'll be able to get just the markets that you want, or if you want the whole county, you'll be able to get that. But the mailer is going to be 12 pages. It's gonna look like a very expensive piece of collateral. Well, out of the 12 pages, we're only gonna have 10 pages for sponsors and advertisers of the publication. So we get to pick and choose actually who goes in there. Knowing it's going to someone new, we don't need 3 or 4 banks or 2 or 3 credit unions or tire stores. We want to give them the products and the services that they need to come in here. So it's going to behoove us to make those choices. From an exclusivity point of view, okay, all right, that is an option, okay? It's a selective option. But again, we're going to be concerned on the quality of the piece, okay?
Does that answer your question? Okay, thank you. Yes, sir.
Just a quick question, I'm with the Federal Credit Union, and I know we're a little different than banks. Mine's a twofold question. If I'm the first one in, could I be the only financial institution in there? And if someone beats me to it, can you put me in a different category as a credit union?
Stop, that's a trick question. Do not answer that. That is a trick question.
I can handle that.
Notice, he didn't say bank, he said financial institution, all right? So now you can handle the
Okay.
question.
So
I know what you're up to.
you can't be given exclusivity, as I explained to the young lady. You can be exclusive if you opt to do so with a half page or a full page. As far as the specific products offered, if there were already a bank in, let's say a bank had bought a quarter page and you wanted to buy a half page, we're not going to exclude the bank that's already in there. They've already made the decision, that kind of first come, first serve. We could then make sure that no additional financial institutions went in.
No, you fell into his trap. You just fell into his
No,
trap.
I know.
Okay.
So, well, there may be a situation where, depending on the products
Edward's
offered,
answer is yes.
we've had healthcare groups, for example, that offered different services. So as long as we communicated and the two didn't offer the same services, they were both fine with that situation, and that's how we would handle your situation on an individual basis. And if I may, I'd like to go back to this gentleman's question real quickly. And I can't remember even what it was at the moment. Because you answered it. That was the second question.
Oh, the commitment.
Yes, as far as how we have our program set up, the reason that we do it as a 12-month program is to make it as cost effective as possible for everyone to participate. If we have this whole group, as well as their graphics department and our production department putting this together every month, they're all out selling it every month and everybody's rebuilding it every month, the cost would have to increase to normal, advertising type rates. And we try to keep the rates as low as possible by setting it up as a solid 12-month program. At the end of that 12 months, you'll have all the folks that moved in that full year, and then we'll renew the program, and you can opt to stay included or not. If, however, you have some extenuating circumstance that makes that questionable for you, you would just speak to Bill, and he would work that through with you on a one-on-one situation.
Again, the biggest question and the problem with advertising, and those of you who deal with it all the time, Brent, I'm sure you deal with it, is people have to spend money. You have to advertise, you have to market. But the question always comes up is, does it work? And if it does work, what part of it works? Right? I think it was J.C. Penney that says, I know only 50% of the money that I'm spending on advertising works. But I don't know what 50% it is, so you can't stop it. Our programs have been unique because we only sell programs. We don't sell ads. We probably turn down a lot more business than we should, but ads don't work on their own. You have to have a program and you have to be able to measure it. Okay, so by being on a program, whether it's 12 months or 6 months or whatever it is, our clients start here and they end here. Okay, all right? At the end, they have to make a decision. Are you going to renew it or are you not going to renew it? And if you're going to renew it, you have to make a decision. Did it work or didn't it work? Okay? Why would anybody have a program with a media company who just continues to give them money if they don't know whether it's working or not? So at the end of the program, okay, you've got to make that decision. Well, over 50% of the people that are in these publications have been with me over 10 years, and 60% have been with me over 15 years. Because at the end of that period, they have got to make that decision. That decision comes year after year after year. Does it not, Brent? Does it not, Bill? Okay, we're talking people that have been with me 15, 18, 20 years. Okay? You got to be able to feel good about what you're doing. There's no shortage of where you can spend your money. You know, there's no shortage, and everybody's got the thing that's going to work. Okay? Believe me, everything works. All right? But you've got to feel good about it. We got to feel good about it. It's a good point, though.
One question, let's do a follow-up.
Sure.
Well, at the end of 12 months, who owns that advertisement? Is it you? For example, you designed that advertisement for me. At the end of 12 months, I want to take that advertisement and take it over here to another publication.
Who's paying for it?
I am.
Then it's yours.
I want to make sure that's clear, because sometimes, you know, we design it that, but there's those little words written in there. You know, when you leave, the design stays with us.
We know about those little words.
So that's why
That's a really good question.
I want clarity on that.
That's a very good question, and anything we do for you, as I mentioned, even the digital options, if we build it for you, it's yours to use however you see fit, any other type of marketing that you would like to do. Our goal is to help advertisers connect with new families and help new families make a comfortable transition into their new market, and that's a good fit for everyone.
Any other questions? About the program, about the product? We are, yes, sir, Bill?
You mentioned the two zones.
Right.
Can you kind of tell us how that's broken out, or so?
Well, we call it the east and west zone, okay? And it's broken up. Were you guys not shocked to know that there's 1,552 new families moving into this community? Do the numbers. Holy Toledo. Okay? All right? Well, here's a map of the zones. Now, this is like a really big zone, but again, we're doing it by families. So it's about evenly split on densities. Okay? So over here, you know, you got east of the river, you got Stedman, Grace Creek, and in that area. All right? So, but if you're over in Hope Mills or you're in West Fayetteville, maybe your business only lends itself to that. Maybe you're a farmer's market or something, okay? But then if you're an institution and you cover the whole county, then you're going to want the whole county. If you're a bank or you're a credit union or financial institution, you're dealing with everybody, okay? But maybe if you got a grocery store, you know people are not going to drive across the county to come to your grocery store, so you don't have to buy it, okay? So, but does that answer? And what we're going to do is, we don't have it now. That's what Lee is here for. We're actually going to have, you see that piece right there? We're actually going to have a map that will list the zone on one side, and it'll list all of the towns and cities that are in that zone, so you'll be able to know. And one thing that he did mention, I want to elaborate on, when it says welcome here, welcome to Fayetteville, welcome to Cumberland County, it won't. On the pieces that he's producing for this county, it'll say welcome to Spring Lake, welcome to Hope Mills, welcome to Eastover, because we're going by zip codes. All right, so another way to personalize it. Yes, ma'am.
Are you gonna tap into Fort Bragg?
Absolutely, absolutely, okay? And it will go to the residents, okay, at Fort Bragg. It's not gonna go to people coming in for training or, you know, people that are here temporarily. Is there any other questions? We're gonna be right outside here. If you'd like to have an appointment, we're gonna set appointments up. We'll be glad to elaborate on any point. Lee is gonna be here all week long. He's got a full schedule. We'll be glad to fit you in. Cindy, you and Tyra are doing a great job on this program. We really appreciate it, and thank you for allowing us. Yes,
What are the
Tracy?
possibilities of getting on the Harnett County side by Fort Bragg? I mean, I have a business north of Spring Lake, that is a booming area.
Well, actually, Teresa, we're working with Lee. We gotta start somewhere. We can't eat the elephant in one bite. It's gotta be small bites. But we did make the decision yesterday, after calling on some major clients here, that we're gonna do Cumberland County first, then we're going to do Hoke and Harnett together,
Do
okay?
you do any up and coming out in Harnett County, like towards that area that, even though we have Cameron addresses out there,
Up and
there's still
coming-
everybody that goes into Spring Lake and Fayetteville, I mean, they don't go to Sanford.
We
Some of
should
them
be
do.
up where you are. She's talking about that business.
Up to
development.
Linden Oaks,
We should be there. Our papers should be there.
they should.
We don't have enough papers to put there yet, because, I
You got
mean,
a store you could start.
we have about 96% pickup rate, which is phenomenal, on an average 87 nationally for a free publication. But we should be there, and we will get there. But Up and Coming Weekly is specifically for up and coming, but that's a good point. But we are going to do Harnett County next with Hometown. And I do want to mention one other twist Up and Coming Weekly is doing with this, is that we're going to invite everyone that gets this mailer. It goes out the first week of the month, the first week. At the last week of the month, Melissa and Carla and I are going to host a hometown welcome reception, welcoming these people to our community. So they'll be able to come in, they'll be able to meet people like Bill Drury or Brent Michaels, or the mayor's already said he committed, or Dr. Till, the superintendent, where they can just come in and meet people here in this community. Another way that we're going to do outreach to the thousands of people that are coming in here every month. You guys, Lee, thank you very much. Didn't you do a good job? You did a great job. Yeah,